This latest development could redefine Indian Air Force's fighter jet ambitions for decades ahead.
It is for them to count. Our job is to hit the target, not to count the body bag.
India is just one step closer to multi-billion-dollar Safran GTRE partnership for a brand new 120 kN fighter jet engine for Indian AMCA stealth fighter jet. When these engines are ready, AMCA might just visit Pakistan to celebrate Diwali. The new Indo-French engines will replace America's GE Aerospace engines or GE F414 in AMCA Mark IIs. The proposal will be put for approval now before the Cabinet Committee on Security for approval, with a decision expected as soon as India's Independence Day on 15th August 2026. With this, India could take one of the biggest technological leaps in its defense history, not by buying any foreign fighter jet, but by co-developing and co-manufacturing one fighter jet while retaining full intellectual property rights. If Rafale and Sukhoi 30 MKI could smash 11 Pakistani airbases, then AMCA might send Pakistani Air Force into early retirement. GTRE, a DRDO laboratory, and Safran, a French aerospace and defense company headquartered in Paris, will jointly develop the AMCA engine. This marks the first time India will own full intellectual property rights in advanced propulsion systems. 9 prototypes are planned, with a later 140 kN version intended to power future 5th and 6th generation Indian fighters. India is already in an elite group of countries that can build their own aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, tanks and fighter jets. The fighter jet engine is the final piece of India's defense manufacturing journey. The Safran GTRE partnership centers on a turbofan engine in the 110 to 130 kN class, built specially for the AMCA Mark IIs. Safran and GTRE will share research and development funding and costs, and HAL is slated to be the manufacturing partner. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh confirmed a 10-year co-development agreement with Safran in August 2025 for the 120 kN class engine, valued at approximately 61,000 crore rupees. AMCA Mark I will use 2 GE F414 engines, the same class that powers the Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet. HAL has signed an MOU with GE Aerospace for manufacturing of 99 F414 engines in India. The AMCA prototype is also taking shape. The Ministry of Defense issued a formal RFP to private firms under 15,000 crore development envelope led by Tata Advanced Systems Limited, a Larsen & Toubro BEL combination, and the Bharat Forge BEML Group. Bids for manufacture of AMCA prototype are scheduled to open this month on the 28th of August 2026. The revised plan mandates 5 prototypes and a total of 1,800 test flights by the 84th month of this program. The 3 firms were shortlisted after technical evaluation following an expression of interest issued in June 2025, covering development of 5 prototypes and structural test specimen. Our news report on India-Pakistan tensions was ranking among the top 5 in Google News videos. I am Shobhit Mittal. Do subscribe to Inconnect News for the most informative news content. The prototype manufacturing contract will be awarded by the end of this calendar year. Separately, the ADA is establishing a new defense company to oversee the development of the 5 AMCA prototypes. The first flight of AMCA Mark I prototype is projected for early 2030s, with series production beginning in the mid-2030s. The critical path runs through engine availability, radar-absorbing materials qualification, and the internal weapons bay integration. One ICBM test, 4,000 km range, and a strategic message that may have traveled much further beyond that. India has successfully test-fired the Agni 4 medium-range ballistic missile from the integrated test range at Chandipur in Odisha. This missile test comes just days after reports that Pakistan is now seeking help from Chinese military hardware and Turkish drones to pose a threat to India's circuit border in Gujarat. With the Agni 4, India has sent a loud message. The whole of China, as well as Turkey, is within reach of Indian Agni missiles. This missile test is not so much aimed at Pakistan, for whom BrahMos is more than enough. Instead, Agni 4 sends a loud warning to India's more distant rivals that geography will not shield them from a retaliatory strike by India in case of a conflict. Here's why the world is watching this missile test closely. Agni 4, inducted in 2014, has been tested repeatedly. This launch, carried out under the Indian Strategic Forces Command, was described as a routine user trial by the Indian military. An official stated, the launch validated all operational and technical parameters. The test was carried out under the aegis of the Strategic Forces Command. Built by the DRDO, Agni 4 is the fourth variant of the Agni ICBM family developed by India. It is a two-stage solid-fuel nuclear-capable missile with a range of nearly 4,000 kilometers. It's guided by a ring laser gyroscope inertial navigation system with a redundant micro-navigation backup. It is accurate to under 100 meters, even over these vast distances. Weighing about 17,000 kilograms, it can fire from a road mobile launcher or a rail mobile platform. India's nuclear deterrent is built around the Agni missile family, from the 700 kilometer to 1200 kilometer range Agni 1 to the 5,000 to 7,000 plus kilometer range Agni 5 with MIRV capability. Waiting in the wings is Agni 6, expected to have a range between 8,000 and 12,000 kilometers and MIRV capability from the outset. Former DRDO chairman Samir V. Kamath had said in May 2026 that the organization is technically ready and prepared, but is awaiting the government clearance before formally developing the Agni 6, a disclosure that surfaced around the Shangri-La dialogue being held in Singapore. He stated, "It is the government's decision. We are ready whenever the government gives us the go-ahead." India joined an elite group of nations in 2024 when it successfully tested the Agni 5, which has an estimated range of 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers and has MIRV technology, allowing one nuclear missile to hit multiple targets with warheads. The test, conducted under Mission Divyastra, places India among just the 6 countries which have confirmed MIRV capability. Separately, in 2025, the DRDO and the Strategic Forces Command fired the Agni Prime from a rail mobile launcher for the first time, a capability until then held only by Russia, the United States, China, and possibly North Korea. Pakistan's longest-range missile, the Shaheen 3, covers around 2,750 kilometers. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute estimates that India now holds 190 nuclear warheads compared to Pakistan's 170. India has a lead of nearly 20 nuclear warheads. SIPRI says that India appears to have begun operationally deploying a small number of nuclear warheads mounted on missiles, roughly 12 as of January 2026, rather than keeping warheads and delivery systems separate, as India had done so for decades. Our news report on India-Pakistan tensions was ranking among the top 5 in Google News videos. I am Shobit Mittal. Do subscribe to Inconnect News for the most informative news content. France has just made an offer to India that could completely change the future of Indian Air Force. But surprisingly, the biggest part of this proposal is not the 114 Rafale fighter jets themselves, but it's what France is now willing to do inside India going forward. France has officially just responded to India's request for 114 fighters. Instead of simply exporting these aircraft, Paris now is offering to manufacture 94 Rafale fighter jets right here inside India, something it has never offered to any other country. But there are 3 conditions New Delhi will examine very carefully before approving what could become the biggest fighter aircraft acquisition in history. What tech is France offering? Is there a solution to the source code hurdle? And will the Indian Air Force be able to integrate Indian weapon systems? France has submitted its detailed technical and commercial proposal after receiving India's letter of request in May this year. According to defense reports, the proposal is now under evaluation by India's Ministry of Defense's Acquisition Wing and the Indian Air Force. Estimated at nearly $39 billion, the government-to-government program far exceeds Pakistan's entire defense budget and represents one of the largest defense contracts ever considered by India, in fact anywhere in the world. The biggest surprise is France's manufacturing proposal. Instead of building all 114 aircraft in France and Europe and exporting them, France is offered to deliver only 20 Rafale fighters directly in combat-ready conditions. The remaining 94 fighter jets would be manufactured in India, creating one of the country's largest aerospace production programs. India's confidence is gained from Operation Sindoor War when Rafale fighters helped the Indian Air Force strike 11 Pakistani air bases, and all 36 Rafale are still in service, as revealed by an Indian Air Force tender document which, once and for all, rubbished months of Pakistani fake news propaganda. The new proposal fits perfectly with India's Make in India vision. French defense companies, including Dassault Aviation, Safran, Thales and MBDA, are expected now partner with Indian companies to establish major manufacturing ecosystem covering aircraft production, components, maintenance, and supply chains. Defense officials estimate the project could generate business opportunities worth 1.6 lakh crore rupees for Indian industry, strengthening India's defense manufacturing capabilities while also creating thousands of highly skilled jobs in India. But manufacturing alone will not decide this deal. The Indian government is expected to closely examine the level of technology which France is willing to transfer and share with India. India has consistently pushed for greater indigenous capability instead of simply assembling imported foreign platforms like Pakistan. The objective is clear: developing long-term aerospace expertise while reducing dependence on foreign suppliers. Such an ecosystem will also benefit Indian indigenous programs like the TED-BF and the AMCA. The Indian Air Force also has another priority. It wants indigenous weapons to be integrated onto the Rafale platform, particularly different variants of the Astra beyond visual range air-to-air missiles. Officials are also expected to seek the integration of additional Indian-developed systems, ensuring that the aircraft becomes increasingly compatible with India's own defense technologies over its operational life. The proposal builds upon already successful partnership between India and France. In 2016, India signed an intergovernmental agreement worth 7.8 billion euros or 59,000 crore rupees at the time to purchase 36 Rafale fighter jets in combat-ready conditions. Those aircraft were delivered between 2020 and 2022 and now serve with 17th Squadron known as the Golden Arrows at Ambala and the 101st Squadron or the Falcons based at Hasimara. The Siliguri Corridor is India's most vulnerable piece of territory, not just for border defense against China, but also for mass infiltration of thousands or millions of illegal Bangladeshis who threaten to change the demography of eastern India. The Prime Minister Modi-led government is now deploying an unprecedented combination of military infrastructure along with artificial intelligence, advanced surveillance and intelligence networks. Illegal Bangladeshis would soon find it more difficult to enter India than it is for Pakistan to either win a war or a World Cup match against India. The new border project is being overseen by India's Home Minister Amit Shah, who made a visit to Siliguri Corridor just a few days ago. This new border fence itself can raise an alarm the moment someone even touches it, where invisible fiber optic sensors, thermal imagers, radars, aerostats and artificial intelligence work together round the clock. This is no longer just about guarding a frontier, it is about securing one of India's most strategically important lifelines. And guess what? India could also recruit a few unconventional border guards. So why is India transforming its eastern border into a high-tech security shield? Stay with us because the answer reveals how India's border strategy is changing forever against Bangladesh. A new radio-based intrusion detection system will be introduced at the smart border fence that instantly alerts security personnel if anyone tries to tamper it, backed by an infrared alarm system. This intelligence expansion comes just weeks after Union Home Minister Amit Shah's 3-day visit to West Bengal. During the visit, he chaired a high-level security meeting in Siliguri with West Bengal Chief Minister Suvendu Adhikari and inspected the BSF's Jumagach border outpost overlooking the Siliguri corridor, often called India's chicken neck.
बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों से मुक्त कराने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार।
The technology stack being deployed includes thermal imagers and infrared or laser-based intrusion alarms, aerostats for aerial surveillance, unattended ground sensors, radars and sonar systems for riverine stretches, and fiber optic sensors feeding a live feed to command and control network or the grid. In the riverine badlands of Assam, where fencing is physically impossible, BSF has already rolled out bold QIT or border electronically dominated QRT interception technique, covering roughly 61 kilometers of Brahmaputra's marshy edge with flood lighting and laser sensors. Surprisingly, India is considering wildlife, including crocodiles, to guard swampy borders with Bangladesh, where fencing is not possible, though nothing is finalized yet. I wonder what the performance appraisal of these crocodile border guards would involve. A senior BSF officer, Deputy Inspector General Manoj Barnwal, confirmed the idea was discussed earlier this year in a meeting at the Home Ministry. He claimed the plan revolves around leveraging natural deterrents like crocodiles and snakes in flood-prone zones along the unfenced area, where traditional fencing is either ineffective or not possible. But while crocodiles could discourage any infiltrators, even more effective would be India's new smart border fence. What do you believe? Should deportation of illegal Bangladeshis become India's topmost priority? Leave a comment, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.